Hey, everyone.
Hi everybody. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining this session. The title for this session is MetaCareer, the 1% mindset towards your career and building the future of the internet. So today we have a motivational session by successful innovators Mohan Sundar and Kandavel. Mohan Sundar is SDE1 at HackerRank. He has won 12 out of 16 hackathons and participated in hackathons like the Facebook and TN Police Hackathon. Kandavel is an SD1 at Ramco Systems, and he also has a of 11. I request everyone to mute yourselves. Thank you. So Kandavel has a winning record of 11 out of 15 hackathons. Thank you everyone for joining once again. I now invite our speakers to start with the session.
Kandavel, I'll screen share.
Yeah, go ahead, Mon.
All right.
Thank you for the warm welcome. Yeah.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Is it? Awesome. All right. Okay. So, welcome everyone. This is going to be a talk on MetaCareer and stuff I wish I knew um, when we were in college, when we were hunting for jobs, etc. And I hope this will be a very informative session for all of you. I'm Mohan. I'm an SD at HackerRank, and my co-speaker is Kandavel. He's an SD at Ramco Systems. So let's get started. So before we start, I just wanted to show some of the stuffs we made. Just introduce about ourselves. So in college, from second year, we instead of doing competitive programming, we were doing a different route, and that was basically building stuff. And we loved doing that. We loved doing that from the start. And instead of doing something that everyone was doing, we felt like we wanted to be different. Uh, so we started. That's when we started learning, let's say, web dev and all the other things, Node.js, all this stuff. Uh, yeah. So eventually we built a lot of things. We went to a lot of hackathons. Uh, some of them were very very big hackathons, international hackathons, etc. And what we did was we built a network of people. We met a lot of people. We met folks from different companies, great places, and eventually we got a lot of offers down the lane. But we chose a specific path that we thought that was good for us. And the most recent stuff we made, and I think has created more traction for us when we were looking out for jobs. Or basically, if there are 27,000 resumes, how was ours different, or how were we in the 1%? So first one was StackLook. StackLook is an open source project. So most of the stuff we built were open source, nothing closed. StackLook was the first thing. It can hide secrets um, with invisible characters in plain text securely using passwords. And this got around 2,383 stars and 150 forks. And not only that, this got very viral in Reddit and Twitter. So a lot of cybersec folks tweeted about it, and eventually it made its position in the top 10 cryptography and steganography open source tools ever created. And it got mentioned. It also got mentioned in Awesome Node.js. If you guys know that there is an awesome variant for every single Awesome Node.js, awesome competitive programming. There's an awesome variant for every single category, and so for awesome JavaScript or in the Node.js environment, this project got listed in the best software ever created. So this was the biggest till date, one of the our biggest achievements, I
Hello?
think. Set.
Huh?
Hello.
Huh?
Okay. Let me continue. Okay. Can someone? Can everyone mute yourself?
Go ahead, Mohan.
Hello.
Can we continue?
Yeah. Is Mohan here?
Yes, hear me? Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, just now.
Sorry. Where did I drop off?
Like after that muting thing, like we didn't hear you.
Okay. So yeah, I was talking. Okay, sorry about that. Cool. Let me continue. So I think I left off at Ashar. So Ashar was the next project which got a lot of attention. It got around 37,000 downloads as of now in pip. We built a terminal tool which allows you to transfer files from your phone to your terminal and terminal to your phone, and it was super simple. You could even stream movies and all these things. It was super cool. We built something that we wanted to use ourselves, and that's how it got created. Azure was very popular in the Python in the Reddit Python thread for at least 1 or 2 weeks. So that was Azure, and finally Teleport. Teleport was interesting. Basically, it was reinventing AirDrop, which was a feature that was only available on Mac, but for all the browsers, Android, every operating system. And we had a quadratic funding round. So InOut is one of India's largest community hackathon. It's where you'll find the best of the folks. I believe if you want to ever compete with IITs and NITs, right, in a hackathon and like go ahead with the best of the best, InOut is the place where you have to go. And it's not simple to get in as well. You have to get shortlisted to get inside, and that's not on some test. That's based on the things you've built in the past. The cool part about in-out is you get a lot of connections. You get a network with a lot of folks, and in-out we won last year's in-out. We won around this was coming around 84,000, 85,000, in just 2 3 weeks, and that was it. And after that we competed with teleport teleport as a base idea, and we went to startup weekend, and we won runner up in Techstars, which is something that's run by Google, and we got into a startup accelerator. But we actually discarded the entire thing, and we made it open source for a reason which we'll tell, which we'll tell as we move forward. So that's about the stuff we've made, and these are the things that stood out in our portfolio when we applied, right? It's not your Twitter clone or WhatsApp clone or YouTube things that you see. These are some stuff we built for ourselves, and that people liked, and it got famous. Kandavel?
Yes. And before continuing to the actual agenda, so I like I was really motivated, no, to not just build, to have this power, to ability, no, to just control what you build. So this is something where a lot of companies miss out for entry-level jobs. So whenever you start in any company, let's say, let it even be FANG, you start as an SD1, you don't directly get to work in any product. You work in the smallest possible stuff, possibly try to, read documentations, solve small bugs. No, that's all you're given. Whereas I was different. I wanted to, solve some really good problems and innovate. So that's what Ramco gave me here. So I got 2 super dream offers from or in campus placements, but still I overthrew all that and took this job because this is something they approached to me, and that's something not every undergrad gets this kind of opportunity. So they're very special. So that's how I land my job and get a super good pay when compared to all my other employees, who work in this company. So why we, before starting, why we want to tell this is like the whole notion of this, this talk, the agenda is to concentrate more on don't do what the 99% of others are doing. Because I think as students, like everyone wants to be successful, right? It's mad, like, we all want to do something which you like and to be really good at that. But the problem here is, so we all try to fall into this one trap and do what the 99% are doing and try to come up. But what actually do you get there? This a lot of people do what they do because they like doing that. No. I think that's something you should answer for yourselves. So I'm here. We'll start about some. I want to break some big myths about this job hunting process and about this CP cliche which has been going on for a long time, and like give you some actual insights like what all these mean. So with respect to competitive programming, how did this get started? Programming is something basic. Every developer or every undergrad who wants to become a software developer, get into the IT sector, should know programming. That's different. But where did this competitive programming come in? It's competitive programming was initially more like a sport where you do people compete. But today that's more like a necessity for people to get into this FANG places. Why? Because very simple. It's about the competition, which it's there in India. It's due to the overpopulation here. Even you want to get selected to the third, you want to even get to the interview rounds. You got to learn CP just really well, and you got to put yourselves in the top 1% just to even get into an actual F2F interview. So this is the biggest problem nowadays. So what actually happens? A lot of people actually don't want to do that, but they still end up doing this just to get up to get placed in this, have this cool posts in LinkedIn. Right? That's what a lot of people want today. But what we've missed to see, that's more important. There are a lot of really good startups there, literally no computer programming. Wherever. They need one line of code to get into HackerRank. The same thing applied to my job. Completely face to face. So, like, we are happy and we are successful. Not that, but we didn't do what the 99% did. We didn't blindly. Actually, I personally like programming, but I was too hesitant to do that in a competitive way. Like competitive, I didn't like that. So we never did that, but still were able to get some really good jobs and do what we like. So for references here, I've put I hope everyone knows about Razorpay, HackerRank. All these places don't ask programming at all. So what do they go for? Three things. Build skills. That's what will lead you to your job. Today there's a lot of stuff out there. Skills, it starts from front end, back end, DevOps, design. There's a lot. I don't want to tell what's there. Find your interest. Build those skills. Second, what you do once you build it. Go to LinkedIn, go to Twitter, build connections. That's what gets the best. So how we built our connections was we went to a lot of hackathons. So when you go to hackathons, a lot of people come in, right from VCs to fellow graduates, peers. You got to meet all people, product managers. So you can build a lot of connections and showcase your work. Now that's more important. You built a skill and you worked on it. So you're going to showcase to the world. No one is going to come asking you what you've done. No, there's no more the school days. We're out there, college. This is a real world. So it's our right to put what we built out to the public. Now this could be any forum. It could be GitHub, Twitter, LinkedIn, where you find your connections. And believe me, guys, opportunities will follow. I'm not telling this not just because it happened to us. We've seen a lot of peers who did this and were able to get crazy opportunities.
Yeah. So in terms of how it works, yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. No, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So continuing on what Kandavel said, so I got my opportunities through networking too. So I met someone called Sundar, who is a front-end architect in HackerRank. I had no idea of HackerRank or what it is when I met him at In-Out. I met him at In-Out. So when HackerRank actually had its internship process, I found out that only very little people make it because it was filled with triple ITs and there's not a single SSN alumni there. There's no people there. It's filled with great builders because most of these folks would have done GSOC, Google Summer of Code, and all these super cool open source things. For example, they would have contributed to Linux, a lot of other stuff. And what they do is they get 27,000 applications, out of which they'll choose 10 people. So there is no way. So everyone has an incredible profile. So one of the best ways to get in is to apply first, and next thing is use the connections you already have. I knew about Sudhanshu, and what I did was I told him I've built certain things I would love to show to you in a call, and I showed everything I've built in a call to him. He sat down for 1 hour, seeing all of those things, and then he told. Then I told I've actually applied for the internship. And then he said, yes, I'll refer you in. Since he was a front-end architect, when there are so much applications, it makes sense that they follow the people who they have trust upon, right? And when they refer, you will easily get an opportunity to interview. For us folks, in getting an opportunity to interview is the hardest part. We could land the job afterwards, mostly. So after I got the interview, I was able to easily crack the job. So that's how I got into HackerRank. I had several other offers too, again through networking and through going for hackathons, etc., etc. I had an offer in Damco too, but I chose HackerRank just because the peer environment was good, was amazing because it consisted people like me. and that was very exciting for me. That's the first season I got into, and most people who got into HackerRank first would then go for Google or better places or Atlassian. So that was first. That's why I joined in HackerRank in the first place, and then again it was also if you get converted, it was also a marquee job, and I did get converted. So this was my journey towards um, about evading CP. I don't have a CP account at all in any of Code Chef. Nothing. I don't have anything. Uh, yeah. So that was my journey. Even I didn't talk about that. Kandavel, you can go ahead with CTC in this way. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Kandavel, is he not online?
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, guys. I think it's just internet here. Cool. Yeah. So the next thing I want to break here is CTC was the base pay here. So CTC is the fancy numbers which companies show, to show that they have this coolest, job openings out there. All this crazy offers you see in the internet, and even eventually you find out, our college also makes that. You get these companies giving you 30 CTCs, 40, 50. And I think a lot of people would have known, I think one of our college, current final years, I think got placed for a 2 crore CTC. That is actually kind of more like a myth. When you see what you'll get in terms of actual spendable money is what is considered to be base pay, and there's a huge margin of difference between CTC and base pay. So I'll go ahead, I'll try to break it down what actually means. So the whole point about this is, don't fall for companies which tell you they have crazy salaries. That's basically CTC, which is called cost to company. Base pay is what you actually get in hand to spend for you to keep with. So, Mohan, go to the next. So, where does the split come from? It comprises of like two important stuffs, or three, let's say. One is base pay, where you, in terms of money which you can spend, all the medical facilities and all the other things which stock options. These are called employee stock options.
Yeah, I think it's breaking.
Yeah.
Kandavel, I think you're breaking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a second. Let me reconnect. Yeah. Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Okay. So regarding ESOPs, employee stock options. So this with all these fancy CTCs, the majority, around 70 to 78%, comes from the ESOPs part, where companies' values are divided into stock options, and these are in turn distributed among the actual employees in terms of ESOPs. So are they really worth it? So a very typical example what I can give you here is, let's say Amazon. Amazon will out there tell you they have a 30 CTC for SDE1s. But you know what does an actual SDE1 earns? He tends to keep in his back account, it's around 13 to 14 lakhs. So rest all is going to be apart from stock options. Very similar to Microsoft. Microsoft will tell it's around 48 to 50 CTC for an SDE1. But what you actually get to keep in hand is 15, guys, 15. The rest is all ESOPs. So are these ESOPs actually worth it? So according to a lot of majority of us, we think, getting into FANG is the best, right? I would like you to see this, small Twitter post here. So Microsoft, Google, and Apple performed, this percentage for this past year, 2020, 2021. If you take, crazy
Kandavel, you're
This,
breaking.
but especially credit and razor pay, it rose by 400%. Oh, so now maybe I think it's internet down here. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So a developer who ended up in credit and razor pay would have actually got a lot more asset than a FANG developer who's supposed to be, the best. So this is the reality. So how to find the right companies? So companies are of two types: private limited and public limited. Public limited are the ones which are nested in the stock markets, like all these big companies like Microsoft, FANG. So there, the stock options are given can be directly sold. But the problem here is the growth is less because you cannot see a lot of returns with that. But what do private companies give? Very simple. I think Freshworks. I think this news was a buzz for this particular year. Freshworks made IPO, and 500 employees. So this is what stock options in a private company make sense, where your incentive, you get the stock as the least possible price, and when it actually gets traded, you get a lot in returns. But what you should look out is that does this mean like stock is always good? Not exactly. It depends on different profiles out there. So stock has something called vesting period. So let's say I get 1 crore fancy CTC from a company, and let's say 75 lakhs worth of money I only get as stocks. They won't give me. You won't get all the stocks in the first year. Vesting in India is generally split to 4 years. So let's say I give a person 100 stocks. He actually owns the 100 stocks only after 4 years. So that's the reality. I want everyone to understand here. So always target the right company. So right company here is company which has good value on what they actually build and the prospects of the company to actually get listed in IPO. That's really important, because for a company which is never going to get into IPO, there's no use with actually this stock options, because you never get to sell it. Like there'll be no one ready to buy it, and even when company buys it, they'll buy back at a very cheap rate. So basically, you don't make money. So all this, this crazy CTCs out there actually mean nothing is the reality.
Yeah, and these CTC stuff that you see, all these assets that they'll be vested to you for 4 to 5 years. The company has to hit IPO. It has to become liquid. The stocks should be something that you should be able to sell to the public. If you see Paytm IPO that came up recently, right? Every IPO becomes oversubscribed. But how much years it takes for a company to go IPO, and how much startups and how much companies don't hit IPO? If you look at the statistics, it's very, very bad. So that's why Google, Microsoft, and all these places are a safer play, because it's already out there in the public. But in terms of wealth creation, you're not going to make big returns that you'll make in startups, because in startup you're early, right? You're very, very early. So I think Freshworks took 10 or 12 years before IPO. Kandavel knows that correctly.
Yeah.
But
so they started in 2010. 2020 is when they made their IPO. So everything has its own pros and cons. So the whole point here is, don't blindly think a company is really good, a job is really good with a CTC. Try to analyze, go to Glassdoor, go to Quora, find what the company actually does, find what the kind of job you get, then try to decide.
Correct.
You get much better.
So there are certain companies
and we were in the job.
Okay.
We have audio issues.
Yeah. Okay, I'll continue. Yeah. So as you were telling, basically, you have to think about this the CTC thing very seriously. That you have to value the ESOPs. You have to think Dunzo. Think about Dunzo, right? Dunzo is an app that you use all the time, and Dunzo will hit IPO quicker than probably other companies, right? So certain companies because you can see the growth in front of your eyes. Swiggy is a company you see in front of your eyes the velocity at it goes. Swiggy had buybacks. Their ESOPs are so valuable. So you should work for these kind of assets and good product-based companies that are already a part of your life. And obviously, if you're early before IPO stage or something, obviously your assets will be valued at a bigger rate when it hits IPO. But does it mean every startup you see will hit IPO? No. That's a very big play, whether it's IPO or not. Um, Kandavel, are you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll go to the next slide. So this is something very serious. If you want to be a less risky person, that's why I find the school. In my perspective, if you're a least risky person, right? You don't like to take risk or something like that. You want to be safe. I think you should be in FANG because all the stock options you're getting, right? It's gonna be vested to you in 4 or 5 years, but it's always liquid. You can go to the stock market and sell them. Obviously, you'll get taxed like crazy. But then again, that's money that you're getting out of assets, right? That's pretty cool. And this money you'll realize after staying for 4 or 5 years. And you should also question yourself: will you stay in one company for 4 or 5 years? If you can convince yourself to stay in Google for 5 years, can you convince yourself to stay in one startup for 10 years or something until it hits IPO? That's something you have to think about, right? Cool. Next. Um, yeah. So this I'll talk about this slide. Yeah. So this is something that that's also in LinkedIn that colleges should start focusing on life skill more than humanities. That we should be taught about ITRs, tax deductions, insurance, house loans, stock markets. All these things, these finance stuff, is never taught to us in college. Everything else is taught, but these things are not taught because the concept is Indian IT sector is always for cheap labor. Yeah, you guys have to understand that we are all cheap labor. It's we are trained to be employees from the start. That's why we are not taught major financial stuff. Things like ATC. ATC should be taught in schools or at least in colleges, but they will never teach those things because once you start learning about all these finance and economics part of how our country is and how much are you going to get taxed after you're going to earn all this money, then you'll realize the importance of assets and not money. But if you realize the importance of assets, everyone will become entrepreneurs, right? Everyone will hunt for assets, and that some people realize the importance of assets and they'll take a huge risk on building startups, etc. But most of the folks still work, and I'll talk about all those things as I go forward. So this is the typical life cycle, right? You study from school, you study in college, then there are certain steps. So either you get into a 3 to 5 LPA, or you get into 5 to 10, and then this is an extra. I think this is a mistake. So after 5 to 10, you could get to 10 to 20. So after that, there's a very big path that you can even go to 1 crore. If you stay, let's just say you join Google at L1 at when you after you graduate or something within after 26, 27. If you're very very competitive, you should be super competitive inside Google itself because there are a lot of people hunting down for the promotions. So if you make it to L5, you will make 1 crore easily per year. And here's the bummer: you have to pay 37% tax. If you earn 1 crore, you have to pay 37% tax. 30% tax and other things like cess and all these things comes down. And that's why you see a lot of attrition in great places, right? Because all these people, all your life, you're hunting down for the best pay. I have to get the 1 lakh, 2 lakh, all these things. But after you start earning it, you will realize you're not going to be spending most of the money, and most of what you have, if you have in the bank account, inflation is going to rot you. So what you're going to probably do is invest in the stock market or buy assets with that money. So it doesn't make sense to buy assets after getting taxed. So that's why what people do is most of the folks, like if you know Gaurav Sen, right? He was an SDE2 at Uber. He would have easily made 1 crore down the line, but he quit his job at Uber and he started his own company, right? Because he would be paid in assets. His equity, he would be paid a lot in equity in his own company, so not in actual money. So only when this life cycle of when people study and they hunt for higher pay, and once they finally get that insane amount of pay, they realize it was not needed after all. Maybe if this is different for everyone. If your family is in different conditions, this might make sense for you. So I'm not trying to generalize for everyone, but at least for me, I just realized that getting all this pay, it didn't make sense because it was again going back to assets. So why should I work for money? It makes sense to work for assets. And that's exactly what most of the rich folks or people you find or like in the 1% of the folks will do. What they'll do is they'll if you see Elon Musk or if you see all these rich folks, Warren Buffett and everyone, they what they do is they buy a lot of assets. So they buy a lot of assets. Let's just say they buy Apple, Amazon, all these stocks, etc., etc., and it grows well. It has grown well that their net worth is 100 million or something. Now, if so there is something called income tax and there's something called capital gains tax. Income tax is 30%. So if you're getting paid 10 to 20 LP, you'll have to pay 30% tax, right? Or more, you have to pay 30%. If you make more than a crore, you have to pay around 37%. That's kind of like the Indian government screaming at you that you're making a lot of money because your skills higher. You shouldn't probably be an employee. That's what they're screaming, and that's why they're taxing you a lot. And everyone has a role to play in the economy. Like if you work for the society rewards you with things like money, right? So once you reach this part, the 30% tax part, that's when you realize, okay, maybe I have a bigger role. That's when people go and figure out and build companies. That's the usual life cycle of an engineer, as far as I've seen. And let me get back to this buy borrow die thing. So people buy assets, and what they'll do is they won't sell it. They'll never sell their assets. So when you have $100 million worth of assets, let's just say you want to sell $50 million of it, you have to pay 10 or 15, 10% capital gains tax, right? You have to pay 10% tax on that $50 million. But do you think they will actually pay that tax? No. Warren Buffett pays lesser tax than his secretary. You know what he does? Basically, um, he'll have a lot of assets, right? He will go to a bank and he will pledge his assets. Basically, he will borrow against his assets. When he borrows against his assets, and his assets are something like stocks, which are always going up in value. So what he does is he buys and he borrows. When you borrow money, it becomes a liability and you are not taxed anymore. So what people do is they keep borrowing, and for the entire life. So you could think about, like, let's just say you have your Apple stock is 10 crores, you can borrow 5 crores against it, and you just wait, right? And now let's just say you wanna close down the debt, like the 5 crores you borrowed against the Apple stocks. You could pledge some other asset, take a loan against that, and repay this loan. And you keep doing this again and again, and you'll keep borrowing against your assets. And finally, they die. They die with the assets, right? They will never sell their assets. What happens when you buy, borrow, die is basically, let's just say you've grown your wealth from here to here, and then you died, your things got inherited to whomever, your kids or your mom, whatever it is, whoever owns that, will not pay tax on this entire curve. They'll only pay tax on the profits made after it was inherited. So this is how the rich stay rich. The rich stay rich by doing buy, borrow, die. And this is something of an information that is not given out anywhere. This is something you'll have to go and talk to great product managers in great companies, and you will have to blatantly ask what is your exit strategy. If you're buying all these assets all the time, you're earning 2 lakhs a month and you're investing 1.5 lakhs of it, and you're investing all this in 10 years, you think it will become very, very big. How is your exit strategy? Are you going to sell? Because if you sell, what if it goes up more? They will say, I don't sell, that's why. They will take a loan against it and they let their assets grow, keep growing up in value. And this is the beauty of assets. Assets can make sure that you don't have to work anymore. That these assets can generate you revenue even when you're sleeping. That's why assets are very, very important. So, for example, right now you work 9 to 5, you get paid. That's how it is, right? But when you're sleeping or when you're watching Netflix, you're not getting paid. And that's what assets solve for you. Assets will help you get paid even when you're sleeping. And that's the importance of assets, and we'll come down to it. So you could probably skip these parts. For example, you could study and directly get into a startup and totally avoid this hierarchy structure, like build a startup or something. Or you could study and directly land a 30 LPA job and then become like a 10 to 20 LPA job or 30 LPA job, and then realize the importance of assets and start a company. It's up to you on how, based on your risk and your family situations, you have to decide what you're going to do. Yes, I'll go forward. And this is the interesting part. And this is the thing that I've been saying, that we are basically cheap labor. I'll tell you why. So I guess you guys would have heard about Web3 as this new buzzword. So let me explain, right? Web 1 is read. Previously, it was just newsletters, right? Where only news things being on the internet. Then web became read and write. Web became more interactive, right? Like Facebook and everything. You were able to comment on pictures. You would be able to upload things. So web became more and more attractive. Now the future of the internet is read, write, own, and there's a connection between this picture and this picture, and I'll tell what that is. Okay, so some of the folks that I know from my friends do masters for two reasons. One reason is they genuinely love research and they want to be a professor. Then they want to be in the US. That's a different level. Then there is this niche set of people who basically go for the US dollar pay, because in US the average base pay you get as a front end engineer is around $100,000. If you kind of convert it into Indian rupees, it's huge. It's around 76 lakhs, right? That's huge. So that's why it's pretty cool to work in US, because the US economy has a different pay structure, and the living expenses is different. Of course, living expenses is totally different in US, and they'll somehow manage it. And obviously, when you go to the US, it's pretty difficult because you would have to pay not only the normal tax, but you have to pay also state tax. So my friend, when he's actually earning that $100,000, he'll have to pay more than 30%, around 35%. But after he gets that green card, it reduces down to 25%, right? So it becomes easier and life becomes better. That's the usual thing, that US pays better than India. And when you convert it to Indian rupee conversion, you can pay the loan that you've taken pretty quick. And that's what people do. But there is this new set of stuff that's going on. If you guys have seen the IIT buzz in LinkedIn, that IITians are getting 2 crore jobs or something, and those are all international packages. The concept about international packages is that you could stay in India and you could get a job in international level, and you could get that pay. So the concept is future of work is full-time remote work. You can earn $40 to $50 at a junior SDE level if you're able to get a full-time job outside India. Let's see how much money it is. It's around 4,60,000 rupees per month. This is calculated on a $40 basis for a junior level. And here everyone are fighting for that 1 lakh that you're going to get at Google, right? And after deducting taxes, you probably get 3 lakhs per month, hard cash in your account. Numbers can shoot up as you move up forward. Don't hesitate to apply for remote work outside India. You will get a very good money what a modern MNC and startup won't give. So this concept of full-time remote work, this is the future of work that we're going towards. That you can stay in India. Yeah, good.
You can see this post written by a software engineer who's L4 at Google himself. That's the whole point. We always see we always try to see this like small picture, what everyone is doing, and we always fight behind that, right? But the thing is, there's great opportunity out there. And in fact, these jobs, these remote jobs, the work quantity, as in the skill level, is actually very basic, but still you get this too good of a salary. Is just because this, when compared to US pay, and US pay, an average entry level developer gets around 40 per hour basis. That when you compare in India, it's around like 4 lakhs. Just think about this. But how many of you know, how many of your peers or how many of your alumni can you find doing this? Very rare. So this is the reality. So the thing here is, like, don't push yourselves just doing what everyone are doing. That's the whole point of the entire talk. That's what we both are trying to put yourselves here. There are a lot of opportunities out here. Please try to find the one where very few people don't try to take this, hesitant to take kind of these paths. Take them, explore, and bet guys you'll become really successful. Go ahead, Mohan.
Yeah, I'll debunk this full-time remote work. It's not as easy as it sounds, right? So, which company will give you the US pay being in India, right? They usually have a system. Basically, they have some money. They'll multiply it with your GDP of your country, and they'll give you a lesser pay. That's why you get something like that's how Google and Amazon and everyone pays, and that's how the 20, 30 CTC is there, right? But why are they paying this much? Why are they paying this much amount of money for people who are sitting in India, full-time remote work? Why are they not asking their country? So this can be two things. Either the talent is amazing, either you're from IIT or some very good place, you're from IIM or whatever. So it's so worth it to hire you, even if you're in India. You can work in India and you can add so much value to the company in the US. That is one way. That is why you see all these international packages being backed by the IIT folks, right? Then then this is the most important part. This is the whole talk about Web3. So the second thing is basic economics, supply and demand. There's not a lot of Web3 developers out there. There's not a lot of smart contract devs. There's not a lot of people who understand NFTs at all. They still think it's gambling. And there's just so much things that are going on in the NFT industry that people don't understand. But since there's a lot of demand, right? There's not a lot of there's a lot of VC money that's being flowed into. Basically, VC is think about venture capital as basically all the richest people in the world will give some part of their money and tell to the VCs to multiply it. And what these VCs will do is these VCs will invest in startups. All right, and the startup blooms well, etc., and it hits IPO, right? And when it hits IPO, all these other suckers, right? All these other suckers who are like the day-to-day 9 to 5 people who are like buying IPOs and stocks, right? They will buy the IPO. The VCs took a very big risk because investing in the startup, and they would have got a lot of equity. They will dump all of that on the IPO guys because IPOs get oversubscribed, right? Because a lot of people will be fighting for that company. And when people who buy it at an IPO will dump it at some point in the future to someone else, and people keep moving this as a vehicle, right? Vehicle of opportunities. So similarly, VCs are throwing money into this Web3 industry because it's already a 2.5 trillion dollar industry, and the stock industry is 80 trillion. So there's just a lot of money to be flown into this thing. So how do you keep? How do all these chains and everyone keep making money? Is basically how the coin prices will go up is basically by people building on it. So they are ready to throw money for anyone who are trying to build anything in the space. But the problem is not a lot of developers understand finance and economics, right? You need to be a very good a person should be a person who understands economics, finance, and tech. But so there will be a set of people who will understand all these three things, but they don't know how to code. These are your usual founders in Web3, right? So they will have everything. They will have everything, credibility, etc., to raise all the money, right? $2-3 million easy funding, but they need people to build these things. And when they go out and look for smart contract devs, everyone is fighting for Google and Facebook and everything else. And that's when this whole thing shifted. That's when this whole thing shifted. That's when the supply and demand, the thing I was talking about, shifted with COVID as well. COVID increased the remote work concept and it made it practical. Now, what happened is that there are a lot of Web3 startups who require smart contract engineers, who know how to write smart contracts, who know how to write code and React, builders like us, right? And they're ready to give you the pay you will get in US, the thing I was talking about, this pay, and you can earn that in India, being in India, simply. And I'll tell you the average pay of a good blockchain dev. $4,000 per month. That means your friend who took an educational loan to go to the US, who wanted to specifically land a job in the US and to get to enjoy that US dollar appreciation concept, right? Compared to India, you could do all of that staying in India. You could land an international package being in India by not being an IITian or having this unfair advantages, or actually it's fair advantage. You would have worked a lot to get into IIT, but basically demand. There's a lot of demand for engineers to go into Web3 and develop things out there. There are a lot of people who are ready to give you this amount of money if you're a good developer. And this is something we discovered as we moved forward. We discovered that recently we actually got an offer for the same offer, the $8,000 offer. Both me and Kandavel got that. So it kind of doesn't make sense to be in a current company, right? Because of the pay. But that's the thing. That's a risky game, right? You're quitting the Web2 industry for Web3. That's a whole another talk. But these opportunities are something that you cannot hunt down in LinkedIn. People won't post these job opportunities in LinkedIn, etc. You need to know people. You need to know people, probably people like me, because I've built a big network. You can find a lot of Web3 folks in LinkedIn, and you can text them and tell smart contract and everything else. You have built a lot of stuff, and you would love to get a job, and they will give you, when the opportunity arises. Here's the cool part: no competitive programming. They'll give you a task, you should do that task, and that's it. But the thing is, no one's reading about smart contracts or anything else right now. That's the reason why the pay, why they don't see the nationality behind you. So most of these folks who are building right now companies, Web3 companies, are based on the US. Indians are very, very less because Indians are always late to the party. The US is always advanced than us, right? And right now they need developers. They don't care about where you are from. And everyone in the US, right? So like folks from UC Berkeley, great folks, are quitting Google and big companies to join crypto startups because they're getting a lot of token equity. Uh, Imagine you're getting paid $8,000 per month in money. At the same time, you have equity that could go up to 50 or 50, $50 million in 2, 3, 4 years. And that's the kind of gamble that these guys take. The equity is super cool. Whenever you join a startup, you will get a lesser pay, but you'll get a lot of equity. Here, you're getting more money than the typical industry, but also getting a lot of equity as well as tokens. So it's kind of like it makes sense to be here, but the opportunities are something that you cannot get always in LinkedIn. Easily, just career space, nothing. It's very hard to find, but if you know the right people, it's pretty easy to find. You have to go for conferences, etc., meet with people, and put yourself out. As I told, put yourself out. Opportunities will come down to you. I'm telling you, we've got a lot of opportunities because we put ourselves out. And that's about Web3. And I could dig down deep about what is Web3 and all, but I want to talk about the job perspective of it, right? And this is just one motivational thing that Sundar Pichai told, since every one of us love authority, right? So we value authority over results and facts. If a person if a bigger person comes and makes us talk, those words would be much more valuable than me talking. So I thought I'll just bring some folks, bring someone who's probably you admire and let him share. I hope the audio is audible when I play it. Was it audible? I'll play.
No. We couldn't hear the audio.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay, I think the audio won't be audible. So I'll just skip, but I'll tell you what he. Yeah.
When you screen share, just check share computer audio in Teams.
How do I do that?
First stop the share, then when you click share your screen, I don't think it is possible, but for a particular window, when you select, it'll in the bottom, it'll show a checkbox, share computer audio.
Ask for share your system sounds, Mohan.
Yeah.
Oh, where is that? Where is that share system sounds?
Select a particular window.
Oh, okay. I'll do that. Yes, uh
Yeah.
it's not showing that. Is
In
it
the
showing my
top
Chrome?
right. Uh,
No, right?
Anna,
It's
like,
not showing my Chrome, right?
can you post the link?
Yeah, that will be great.
Yeah.
Let me share my
If
screen. Yeah, awesome. I'll post a link afterwards for you guys to see. But I'll just summarize what he tells. He talks about Web3 and how Google is going to be investing in Web3, right? Investing in terms not in money, but it's basically on engineering teams. So he talks about how the web evolves from one phase to other phase to other phase, and it's not about the companies or anyone throwing money or whatever. It's about the builders. It's about the early adopters who believe in the concept, who read deep, who establish the knowledge base, and then they build on top and they innovate, etc. And that's how the web has evolved always. And builders are the ones pretty much are the ones who are gonna be rewarded for taking that kind of risk, and that's like a lot of money. If you, it's about the right hill to climb, and I'll give some examples as we go forward. But that's about it. Web3 is basically where um, you can own certain things. For example, let's just say I could give a very good example for NFTs that people would find it fascinating. Um, one of the applications is that you know about all these Gucci and bigger brands, right? So when you buy something, when you buy a Gucci bag or something, or you could buy a first copy of it, obviously. But what people usually buy that first copy or something and count about it. But what people are now doing, or what all the brands are looking at, is that now that you can verify the ownership of that item in the blockchain, and the blockchain is think about it like a computer that never dies. It's a supercomputer that everyone has access to, but no one owns, right? So it's like set in stone that you own that specific thing. So if you have that NFT, you get access to this exclusive Discord community or exclusive community where all the events of Gucci, and you will find other people who have also purchased Gucci in. So you'll find like-minded people inside, and they will engage with these customers. The company will directly engage with these customers, launch events for them for free, give them stuff for free, etc. This is how brands are moving forward with NFT. And one more super cool thing that is going on is every single thing that you see as tickets, right? Airline ticket and everything will become an NFT. Why? Because simple. Movie tickets are getting full, right? Every seat in a movie ticket in a movie theater gets full, and you cannot buy the ticket anymore. But there are always people who wants to, they're ready to pay a lot of money to get those tickets because they want to see the first day first show or something, or it's the only opportunity to get they get to see that movie because they're very busy with their lives or something. So what happens in the traditional world right now is that you have this concept of black tickets, right? People selling it at 2x premium. 150 rupees ticket is 300 rupees outside. But the thing is, it's illegal to do that. It's very illegal to do that, and you will even get caught by the police if you go and sell in black, right? Why? Because the royalty is not given back to the theater owners. The theater owners are not enjoying any of the profits, right? So it's pretty much illegal. So how NFTs flip the entire equation is that think about 100 tickets in a movie theater, and every one of them is a super cool NFT, and you can show off that you have in your NFT base. You can show off that you have the first day first show ticket of Rajnikant's film or something. But that doesn't matter. So what happens is all the tickets are now NFTs and everyone buys it at a floor price of 150 rupees. And there are 300 tickets. Then what happens? There will be a certain set of people who will put it in an open market and trade it. So they will put it for sale, literally, and people will start bidding on it. Based as time progresses, people will start bidding on it. So this gives you the opportunity to buy a movie ticket even if the theater gets full. But the point is they cannot overprice this ticket, because if they cannot sell this ticket before the show time, right? So a total NFT, the NFT loses its value totally, because what is the use of a ticket if you cannot use it, right? So that's how the ticketing industry is gonna take a big shift. And you won't believe me, SPI and every single company is already working on it. And no one knows, right? No one knows until then, until it comes in the big news or something. So that's how Web3 is changing the game. And that's how I think you should see NFTs are like primitives. How you have primitives in a language, in a higher level language, right? That things can be built on top of it. There's a lot of use cases with NFTs, and that's a cool example I could give about Web3. I'll move on to the. We're going to get to the end. Okay, so I'll end it with certain things. So I talk about Web3. I talked about certain opportunities that are out there, and I'll also be sharing resources for you guys to explore. But this is more important, that I think people should have this mindset that this person is called Naval. His name is Naval Ravikant.
Naval Ravikant,
He's
yeah.
yeah. Naval Ravikant is he's the AngelList co-founder, and he's a very big guy, right? He's invested in Twitter before it even blew up. So he's had a lot of good ventures, and he talks, and you'll find these folks talk in podcasts about life and what you
Is
should
this
chase.
the Joe Rogan podcast we're talking about?
Joe Rogan, Tim Ferriss does a lot of things, and also his Twitter
Yeah,
stream,
right.
Twitter stuff.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah. I get it. I'm sorry. Yeah. He has his own podcast on Spotify, right?
This is a super cool thread.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can go on.
Yeah. So in that he talks about that you should seek wealth and not money or status. Wealth is having assets that earn while you sleep, and money is how we transfer time and wealth, and status is your place in the social hierarchy. And most importantly, he talks about something called arm yourself with specific knowledge, accountability, and leverage. And in one of his tweets, he also says, if you're doing something that everyone else is doing, society will find a way to replace you, right? So the idea is that you should acquire some specific knowledge that others don't have, and you should monetize that. And one of the cool things I could say right now is that DeFi Pulse Index is nothing but decentralized finance. It's a part of crypto. Whatever you saw as crypto and coin switch and all these things, that is not actually that is not entirely crypto. That's just the trading part of it. But if you go down deeper, you'll find things like decentralized finance, NFTs. So new concepts, right? And in one of them, there's something called DeFi Pulse Index. It's a very big protocol. It's pretty known to everyone in the industry. And developers in that DeFi Pulse Index charge $5,000 an hour for consultation. $5,000 for an hour for consulting, and these guys are always in demand. You know why? Because decentralized finance is something you can use to generate 12%, 10% easily with the same risk, right? In your bank account, you don't get savings interest at all. In US, you probably get 0.05, 0.5 to 1% or something. But let's take FD, right? FD will give you fixed deposit will give you 5-6%, but inflation will rot it, whatever. But in decentralized finance, you can get 10 to 11% in just savings itself, and that is crazy, right? So but people don't know about it. People don't know how it works and why it's working, or people don't know how to chase the returns in that space. 10x is you could easily make a 10x in the decentralized world if you know what you're doing. And for people who arm themselves with specific knowledge, who've gone deep down, built things inside, their net worth or this specific knowledge that they're gaining, right, is super valuable. And so this guy is basically getting paid $5,000 an hour. And I don't even, so if I have to work 2 months to get that, and that's the best example of specific knowledge. Specific knowledge, accountability, and leverage. Specific knowledge and accountability. Accountability comes from how much can I trust you? Are you a very good builder? Accountability is something that you can get from building protocols or building your own decentralized app and getting outside there, building something crazy, and establishing trust. But I really chase around specific knowledge, and that's what companies want now. So, for example, I've proposed HackerRank to go Web3. And first thing they will want is they need to know how to build something called a DAO, right? But who will they go and ask, right? They will go and find other people who have 1 lakh, 2 lakh people inside their community, and they've built an amazing DAO. So who will get paid much? These community DAO builders, because there's very few in number. There's very few numbers, so they will whatever number they quote, they have to pay, or else there is no way. That's called specific knowledge and leverage. That leverage this guy has, that you cannot find another way. And that's the cool thing about 1%, that people arm themselves with knowledge that they can't find. For example, if you learn React right now and you go in a company, they'll find another developer. There's always people who know things, right? So that's one. And the next thing is token economics. So token economics, there's a book on the math and engineering of building tokens, etc. Token economics. If you think about every single decentralized application that's going to come outside, right? And every Web3 thing, and what do these guys need? They need a token, right? So that token should be engineered pretty well. It should be made in a way that it doesn't get dumped by people and it loses its value overnight, right? So who do you go? Who do you go and talk to about token economics? You'd go to people who are telling that they know token economics, and these guys, you know what? They don't get paid in money. They'll ask a share of the token supply for designing the token economics. And this amount of tokens that they do, right? They'll get 1 or 2% of the token supply, and this will hit like because the developers, the company is working very very hard. This guy just implemented the knowledge he already had, right? And it will hit 10-20 million dollars in value. Simple, and he exits. But this is something that you cannot learn easily. This token economics, game economics is going to be a new thing. This is something that people don't know too. That games are going to have assets. All these hammer or skin and all these things you have in the game, right? All these things disappear once you quit a game. So crypto gaming is going to be booming a lot, where you can take these skins or the gun you have in PUBG and use it in some other game, and it becomes
like
a
more in
rare
simple
item.
terms, and adding to more like simple terms, all these days we've been playing games, suddenly what if I can tell, like you can start making money by playing games. That's what game economics is all about. And that's going to be a reality. I'm not even kidding. Just think about, you play and you earn for it. So all the collectibles which you get in a game, all those badges, awards you get, now all this can be traded, traded across different platforms where people come and directly buy there and continue from it.
Correct. And for example, and this is going to be an industry that's going to go mayhem in just 1 or 2 years. Epic Games is already on it. All your top gaming industries are already started building on top of it, and TikTok has already collabed with someone else for the creator side, right? Creator side, you probably have already started seeing that that Justin Bieber and everyone launching NFTs, right? It's because they can finally, they don't need an intermediate person like Vivo or some kind of label to interact with their fans. They can directly launch an NFT and monetize themselves. Creators are a very big audience. I think creators are one of the best jobs you can think of right now, because what they do is, this guy will land Google and he'll teach about the computer programming, because he realizes the importance of assets and specific knowledge and leverage. And what leverage he has, if he has 100,000 subscribers, and they will listen at any point of time, whatever he tells, any brand will come and tell, please market this product for us, and they'll pay a lot of money. And that's one of the ways, that's how creators earn. If you see Ankur Warikoo, right? He's been talking about, he has helped a lot of people. Honestly, he's helped a lot of people. He has 1 million subscribers in a year or something. right? But he launched a book, 300 rupees. It sold more than it's sold more than 500,000 copies. That's it. He's made insane amount of money with that. So creators, all these people who you see in Instagram reels, doing all these reels, etc., are actually more smarter than you think. They're doing it because they want to engage you and take a lot of followers, and they'll monetize them afterwards. Because right now there's a lot of products and everything being created, but the companies need to reach people, and who do they reach it with? With creators. And that's the concept of creators and why it's a very good thing to be a creator. And all these things you see in cringe, all these things in Instagram, they're wantedly being cringe. They know it's cringe. They're not dumb. They're basically, if you think it's cringe, you'll click it, right? Or you will share to your friend and say, "This, how cringe is this?" Right? So that's the game the creators play. And one of the fascinating things I've seen is that Razorpay has a product design opening that comes every year, and all the IITs and everyone will fight for that. You know why? Because it's one of the prestigious internships in product design for freshers. If you land Razorpay, the team they have has like 10 people in the product design, very very experienced folks. You can easily land Facebook after that. Literally in the next year you can land Facebook, or you can go to the UK and land Facebook. That's the that's the cool that's the thing that Razorpay has. It has an amazing team, and it's one of India's premium product design internships, and it's very very hard to get into it. Super hard. They take the best of the best creative people, and this guy, his name is Ma Life Maroons. I'm not sure if, how much of you guys know Nirmal, right? In Instagram, he's a guy who's not in real life. He actually is a product. He was a product design intern in Razorpay, and he got converted into a product design person itself in Razorpay. He is one of the top. He was one of the top paid product design folks, because as a fresher, if you're earning 10 to 20 LP as a designer, it's pretty big deal. And he was earning that much amount of money. But guess what? He quit his job for his Instagram account. He's not dumb. He's one of the he's already the 1% of the people who cracked that job, and he's not dumb enough to leave the job. It's because the creative business is much more better. The leverage part I was talking about. And this was fascinating for me when I realized what power the creators have. DeFi financial planners. If someone tells something is risky and there's a lot of returns to be made, if you know how to navigate that space, of course you're gonna get paid a lot by people who want to enter the space but they don't want to take a lot of risk. So they'll rely on someone smart, and that guy could be you, guy or girl. So that's DeFi financial planner. Next one is smart contract devs. Who knows security too? It's a pretty big deal. So if you are a smart contract dev, right now there's a lot of demands for smart contract dev, but there are not a lot of developers in the first place. So if you have that, it's a pretty good specific knowledge. That's about specific knowledge. And inflation and Cantillon effect. This is the last thing, right? Kandavel, do you want to talk about this?
Go ahead, Mohan. Here I have small internet issues here. Go ahead.
Okay. Awesome. So I'll talk. I think I've been talking for a long time. I hope you guys haven't slept. But let me go with inflation and Cantillon.
Let's not go into detail.
Yeah. I won't get into detail of inflation, all these things. But basically, Cantillon effect is basically when the government prints a lot of money, what it will do, it will inject it back to the economy by investing in the markets. So people who have assets will get richer and richer and richer. People who are in the stock market and all these things will get richer and richer and richer, because so this newly printed money is not given out to the public. It's given out back to the people who have invested in the markets. And that's why investing is a very important thing. Assets are a very important thing. At the end, it's not about FANG or whatever. It's about assets, having powerful people in your hand, networking, and specific knowledge. If you have specific knowledge, you can easily leverage the crap out of everything, and you can pretty much settle quick. That's the whole concept. So these are the three things I focused on right now. assets and powerful people. I go to a lot of conferences and meet a lot of people and show off what I know. And we help each other, and that's how it is. So these three things are important, and I'll get down to references. We're going to end the talk.
So this is
Most
something
of
I
what
think we use. I'll go ahead, Mohan. Yeah. Yeah. So these are this is where, especially with respect to Web3, resources are very scarce. Finding the right resource is really tough, and that's why it's a very risky venture. If you want to become a front-end developer or let's say a back-end developer, you can go to Udemy and find a course instantly. That's availability of it. That's why you can always get replaced. But when it comes to Web3, the crypto verse, finding quality resources was very tough. So this is something we've aggregated here, and I'll tell Mohan to share this slide, so that everyone will get it. So when you get free time, please go ahead with all these references and just search. And here for learning, especially in terms of Web3 and crypto, we use these two, Bankless and Bankless DAO. So it's a pretty good resource material out there. They themselves are DAO themselves, and also give out great resources with weekly newsletters, etc. And Olympus DAO is a really cool protocol. Try learning about it. You will get fascinated. And Web3, it's one of the most coolest projects like we've ever come across. Gitcoin is a site where it's more like, I hope everyone knew about this topic which is talking about this getting US space, right? So Gitcoin is a site where you can literally do hustle. You can do anything. You can work. You can be part of a college. You can do side projects here and get earned insanely. So all you need to know is like learn documentations and try to implement what they tell, and you get some really cool wages. And this wages with respect to US pay. So let's say you do a simple front-end task. It's basically a 4 to 5 days work for which you'll be getting paid at 5,000 USDs.
Yeah,
that's the range.
That's insane. That's insane. And that's an insane amount of money, right? Because in the US terms, it's pretty big. I mean, in Indian terms, it's pretty big. And right now, I'm doing I'll show some stuff, right? This is the UI UX redesign of Soul Razor, right? It's a pretty easy task. It's a very easy task. They just want very good UI UX people to improve their protocol. And if you do it well, only $3,000. So you'll get $3,000. And you know how much amount of work you have to do? I mean, if you know UI UX, I did learn UI UX a lot. I did research on that. I did six case studies, and it takes me 2 days to finish this. And that's $3,000 of Solar tokens. I could sell this, or I can earn crypto. So if you're a developer, you can earn crypto. That's the cool thing. You can invest your brain and your knowledge, and you can easily earn crypto like crazy. And all of this will go up in value, right? It's pretty fun. So this and not on this is the one thing. And you know how much people are competing in this?
That'll be the biggest joke.
I went to the Discord server. There was barely 2 people participating in it. Imagine a competition for $3,000 with 2 days of work, only 2 people competing because no one knows about this stuff. That's the problem. And because people are chasing different things in different places. That's one. And buildspace.swl is where you can learn Web3 from scratch for free. This is one of the best reasons I could tell you guys. I think it's SO. So yeah, you could learn Web3 and you can even get placed with them. They could find you Web3 jobs, or you can go to Gitcoin right now. And I hope, one sec, let me try to log in and show some of the stuff inside that. Okay, I need my password manager for this. But yeah, I'll show this in a different browser. But buildspace.swl is where you go and learn Web3. Gitcoin, Bankless DAO, Olympus DAO are places where you can go, do development, meet new people, learn from them, and earn crypto. You can earn crypto. You can earn equity. And Darefolio is where you can show off and meet a lot of people. Darefolio conducts a lot of hackathons. And you could go and participate in the hackathons, and you can meet new people and get a job. That's also one of the ways. Darefolio is one way. And this is another thing. It's called Crypto Saturday in India. Crypto Saturday in India. You can literally learn Web3 and everything, and put out that you know a lot of things. You're ready for a job, and you would love to take a job. People will reach out to you. This consists most of the VCs and important folks, right? who know about a lot of opportunities. I was talking about opportunities for being hard to find. This is a Telegram channel where you can reach out to. I'll share all this deck properly so that you guys can join these things and start doing stuff. And I'll show Gitcoin. And it'll be very funny to see all these things, honestly. Let me show Gitcoin. Yeah, it's here. Let's go. Cool. Yeah, so the Explorer is up. This is basically you can do open source work. So this is the cool part. You could do open source work at the same time get paid in USP sitting in India. So not only are you earning money, but also increasing your portfolio, your profile. So let's take this beginner task, right? It barely takes 2 days to finish this. And you get paid $2,525. And look at the applicants here, 0. It's very, very low, right? And some very, very easy tasks will get 27 applicants, but this is 2 months before. But yeah, if you're early, right, like 7 days ago, this is 7 days ago work, you get $2,500 by just working for 1 or 2 days, and you're earning money at the same time. You're increasing your portfolio at the same time. You're doing open source work, right? And not only that, through this, many people found a lot of job opportunities because they meet a lot of people through this. And one more thing, there are a lot of things, right? Contest, there's intermediate and advanced, which will have bigger bounties. Like for example, this is 10 ETH job, but it's not easy. It's a very hard task. But you can go up in the ladder. You go up in the ladder and earn crypto. You don't have to invest in crypto. Our minds are more than enough to earn things inside this. Awesome. That's about it. I think we've shown everything that we wanted to show. If you guys have any questions, we're ready to answer.
Mohan and Kandavel, this is one of the finest sessions I've ever participated in a very, very long time. It was very resourceful and very, very useful. And I have a lot of suggestions, queries, and things that I want to ask you. Is there a way I can contact both of you?
Yeah, please reach out to us on LinkedIn. Yeah.
LinkedIn, right?
Sure. Yeah,
Sure. Right.
LinkedIn is good. Yeah, you guys can reach out to me. Yeah.
Now, is there another way, as in not just LinkedIn? WhatsApp would be fine. Would be wonderful.
What we'll do is we thought of doing a Calendly slot. So we'll drop a link for a calendar. You guys, who's interested? I don't think everyone will be interested in getting on calls. So we'll have 10 slots.
Look, I'll never ever call you, right? I won't even disturb you in any form or other. I'll just message you. I have a lot of queries regarding. I was able to follow your session throughout. It was fantastic. I was able to associate with each and every word you said. I've been following all this information, and there are a lot of things I just want to put in peace. So I just need to contact you. I need to message you. That's why I'm asking WhatsApp specifically.
Awesome.
Please.
Sure. You can reach out to the organization. They have my number, so that's it.
It was fantastic. I was able to follow your session right from every people you mentioned, every tweet storm that you put out, and I was able to associate with it. I've been following this for a very long time. I just didn't know how to put those puzzle pieces together, and it was very, very valuable. Very valuable.
Yeah, give me a ping in LinkedIn. I'll send my number and maybe we can talk. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, awesome. We could directly answer these questions, but do you guys have anything specific? Please ask. Yeah.
Anna, I think we had like a few questions which were given to us while registering for the session.
Yeah.
These are the questions, right? 4. Or you can ask me in this call and I'll just answer.
Yeah, 1 second. I'll just open it up.
We'll start one at a time, Mohan. Like, okay, this is a few questions I think I took from the form itself. The first one is, I think, pretty interesting. Which should you focus on? Getting a high-paid job or getting a job with low salary and gradually move to high? I think it totally depends on the perspective of the individual. It's more like rather than the pay, try to figure out what you're learning. I think especially in the initial years, just graduating out of college, the most important stuff is knowledge. Skip any place which is going to give you high salary and keep you dumb. What I'm trying to mean is, never get comfortable with any job, especially in the initial 5 to 6 years. And if this could mean getting a low salary, fine. If this means getting a high salary, fine. But the goal should be like, never get comfortable. Keep on learning. Try to gain the knowledge and try to learn what not others are learning. That's more important. Just don't go behind the herd. I think that itself will keep you sorted. Mohan, your thoughts?
Next. Yeah. The same thing. That's the thing. Specific knowledge and leverage. Keep these things in mind. This is from like the best of the best. Like 1% of the people. Usually the rich and wealthy people, VCs, they don't go and open a Twitter account. That's the best thing you can do right now. We are all programmed to open a LinkedIn account and hunt for things because our alumni go and tell this that without LinkedIn you cannot get a job. That's the thing, right? When you go to Twitter, you will find great folks like Kunal Shah. Kunal Shah puts great tweets. Like for example, he put something like talent chases wealth and wealth chases talent, right? And these were some very very good insights you will get in Twitter. You get access to the best of the minds, and from there, I think if you're in crypto Twitter, all these places, you would get more insights than just me talking here. But that's about it. Please equip yourself with specific knowledge that other people don't have. For example, I feel that if I'm a computer scientist plus I'm an economist, right? Who I know who knows token economics, I'm a very hard get. I don't think there are people who understand Web3 and also a computer science person at the same time who also knows finance and economics. So this way, I make myself very irreplaceable. So I know it's pretty hard to digest all this. If some people find it difficult, please do whatever you're already doing. Your path, whatever it is. Take this as a side hustle. Learn smart contracting. Go and participate in Discord. Participate in a DAO. What the heck is a DAO? Learn about it, and eventually you will get whatever that was said in these things. So that's my take on that. Awesome. Next thing is future of blockchain.
With respect to developer, what I see is there's a huge opening in that, and a lot of people are even started looking to that. So as a developer, blockchain will be the next biggest industry where there's a lot of demand and too little of supply. Is too little. Like we recently got on a call with the product manager who literally told this. If we were able to find legit blockchain developers, he was like literally like those developers can quote the price they want to, and companies are out there to pay these developers. That's the reality, because you cannot find blockchain developers even from IIT. There's nothing like IITians can do blockchain. Nothing. It's about learning, and the knowledge is very scarce. You got to hunt for knowledge in this space, but once you learn it, that's pure gold. You found your gold mine literally, and it's like you can work like when you want to and still be successful. It's like that.
Yeah. And also, guys, with Kunal's respective tweet, you will find a lot of IITians quitting Google and Microsoft, joining Coinbase. And this is something that was obvious. I went and saw Coinbase, and I was like seeing the people who are working there. Most of them were IITians and BITS people. And you will find a lot of BITS people also building DAOs and Discord, because these people have a better network. These people have more people like us to come and talk to their juniors and tell these things exist, and they'll go and discover, they'll build. And yeah, this thing about people, please build relationships with people. It's very important. You have to make people. If you have people, that itself will sort you out. And this guy we actually talked to, he's paying $2,000 for a content writer because there aren't quality content writers in Web3. $2,000 for a content writer, it doesn't make sense at all.
And that too, the content is an intern. Think about it, an intern.
Intern getting $2,000 for content writing is insane, and that's because of the demand. And that dude is from Nigeria. And for him, US dollar pays gold. That's the biggest thing that people are saying. That if you have 10 areas, 11 areas, doesn't matter. If you know how to build, you understand the economics part of it. Please understand the economics part of it. It's not coin switch. It's not WazirX. There's a lot beyond this, and you could start with Bankless. Go to Bankless. There is a welcome to Bankless video. I'll share the links in a separate email, and start from there and learn about the economics part of it, and you will learn about evolution of money and all. So you'll understand the importance of why we are doing this. So we need to build conviction before we get into something. Because if you have conviction, you won't leave when the times get rough. And I think that could be enforced through education, through going through Bankless. Bankless is what we refer to all the time. Next is future of blockchain. Future of
And Mohan,
blockchain is that. Yeah.
Mohan, sorry guys, late emergency. I think I have a small meeting to attend. I'm running late, so I'll be dropping off this call. And thanks for this. This. I think we had a really good audience. I hope we try to make and like a lot of people have attended here. And the whole agenda, I think once again, I'd like to revise this. Like there are a lot of opportunities out there. Just be brave enough to look out for these opportunities and try to do that. Get your hands dirty in this. So that's something I would like to tell. And sorry guys, sorry. And I had a last minute meeting, so I'd like to I'll most probably drop down. Thanks, Mohan.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
for
Yeah.
giving your time.
Thank you guys. Yeah.
Awesome. Is there any other? Shall I go with these 3 questions alone? Is there more questions?
I think these 3
Do we have time to answer? Yeah, I can answer it as long as there is time. I'm not keeping track of time. That's why. Okay, I'll answer the things that are in front of me. So future of blockchain. See, that's the thing, right? All these crypto stuff is just, you can think about religion, right? Which will win? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, all these things. Think about all these things as religion. How religions work, right? It's a social game, right? Just because there are terrorists, that doesn't mean that religion gets destroyed. And that's basically how crypto is as well. It doesn't matter of the religion. There will be people believing in it as long as there's people backing it, and as long as decentralization is not compromised. I don't think Solana is not decentralized. It doesn't make sense to build in that. It doesn't make any sense to build in that. So I'm a big believer in Ethereum, and I believe Ethereum has maintained decentralization. At the same time, it could open up a lot of things. Like for example, NFTs came from Ethereum. Time testedness is a very big deal. Ethereum has been there for a long time. Bitcoin is the most decentralized. That's how I see it. Bitcoin is more decentralized. Then comes Ethereum. So I pick more Bitcoin, maybe 30% Bitcoin, 70% Ethereum. And Ethereum has its ecosystem being built and expanded to something called L2. And there are a lot of scaling solutions being built. For example, Ethereum can only do 10 to 15 transactions per second. That's not viable at all, right? If you're going to have gaming and all these things. So there are a lot of solutions that are being built right now that has the economic security of ETH, but they be super fast. And so there are a lot of things that are happening and a lot of games being built on top. If you guys are interested in gaming and crypto gaming, it's a pretty cool thing. And I think crypto gaming and NFTs were the first things that go to the real world. And gaming is the next thing that's going to onboard a lot of people inside. And after that, finance, decentralized finance. Finance is not a subject for everyone here, right? Some people will be very enthusiastic about it. Some people won't get it. That is why it's a great opportunity to learn finance and learn decentralized finance specifically, because when people don't know how to get into something, they'll come to you, who was an early adopter and who learned how to do things inside. And that's about it. So the future of blockchain is that it's going to go more mainstream. And if you guys know, Visa is already building stuff like crypto payments, like cards, right? It doesn't matter which crypto you own. When you transact with the seller, right? What happens? Let's just say you have stable coins, some stable coin, and this merchant is accepting some other some other coin, right? So what Visa will do is Visa will take your coins, it will swap it internally, and it will pay the merchant. So you as a person don't need to ask what kind of coins do you accept. You don't need to ask that. Visa will build on top of it, and Visa is already in the game. Visa is already building all these crypto credit cards, and also you know what, they're also giving crypto rewards. So that when people, this is how mainstream adoption gets into that they will give free crypto for every transaction you do with their card, and when people see free money going up, they'll start investing in it. They'll go and study it. They'll go and understand what it is, and don't think about it as gambling. It's not gambling. You have to learn a ton about Ethereum, the protocol synthesis. There's a lot of things about Ethereum, or any you pick one thing and be very good at it. And that's about future of blockchain. That mainstream adoption is coming, and that's through crypto gaming, and it becomes more and more native, right? The metaverse. That's how the metaverse is going to be. The roadmap. Okay, I'll get it. Roadmap metaverse. Basically, metaverse is going to be Facebook recently entered with changing the name to Meta, right? So the world we're going towards is that imagine rolling out of your bed, you wear your Oculus, that's it. You're in your office. You're in your office and you're coding. And once you finish your job, you get rewarded in tokens, right? And these tokens, you can literally spend them. You don't have to sell it to INR or something. You literally buy some phone or something, whatever, everything that you want to buy, it will be built into your Visa card or something like that. Or you'd be able to go to online e-commerce on blockchains and buy through the token. So the internet will have its payment structure built inside. It doesn't need payment gateways like Google Pay and all these things to bring some currency inside. Tokens will be very, very native, and that's how things are. And community is going to be a big deal, because you know something. I went to an Uber, right? This is a very big difference about Web2 and Web3. That I got into Uber and this driver is like, it's like telling me, please don't GPay me or go put into Ola cab or something, Ola Pay or something. Because the thing is, any way you pay them, they have to pay 30% commission to Ola. They have to pay 30%. That's insane. Um, but if you think about Jeff Bezos' quote, he talks about margin. Your take rate is my opportunity. When you take 30% commission, I'll take 10% commission and sell the same thing. And I'll take all of your customers. That's what Web3 is about. Web3 doesn't need an office. It doesn't have office expenses. It doesn't have all these crazy, very, very big skyscrapers or something. It exists in the internet, in a Discord server, which means it just cut down all of that cost, right? And all of these things, right? The drivers get to govern the network. What is the commission rate and everything will be decentralizedly governed. And that's super cool thing, because suddenly there will be a Web3 protocol that will say, we will give you, we will provide the same services as Uber, but we will give it at 7%, 6% commission rate. People will jump, right? Because once people see money is the biggest driving factor. People will jump because there's a much better model. There is no corporation. There is just a DAO and a Discord server, which is running a very big service, and everyone has skin in the game. When they own a token, they have skin in the game, and they will go and publicize. They will make sure the protocol is maintained well, etc., etc. That's where we're going. We're going towards a more digitalized world. There are two worlds: traditional world here, and there will be another world where you just enter and that's it. Ready Player One kind of thing. And that's where we're going. And I think you guys would have already seen Meta already announcing publicly that we're going towards that. So that's one future of blockchain, and blockchain will be native with the internet. Roadmap to get into the metaverse and beyond. It's not straightforward. That's the problem. You have to get into certain things, like, for example, you have to get into the Discord of multiple protocols. For example, I talked about Bankless DAO. So in Bankless DAO, you can code or you can design or you can draw art and get paid in bank tokens. I consider that that has its own metaverse, because you go down on the internet and you work and you make money. But the actual metaverse is like, I don't know what the actual metaverse is. Like, you need Oculus and all these things, get into a virtual world. That's the metaverse you're talking about. If that's the metaverse you're talking about, there are already games. That's where the crypto gaming setup comes in, where I've seen super cool things like people playing poker and all these things with NFTs. And they'll wear the Oculus headset and go and play. And that's already there, but it's a very vast field. So you have to get into one thing and follow certain resources, especially Bankless has its own podcast on crypto gaming and etc. So follow Bankless. They also have a guide. Bankless has its own guide. Let me show. Bankless guide. So if you guys go here, if you don't know anything about anything, right? So you go from scratch. You learn about central banks, commercial banks, economics. Then you learn about everything, and these resources keep going again. Lot of resources. You have to do all of this. That's why education is harder in this space. That you have to do and learn a lot of things in the traditional way, and most of these things would be 1 hour or 1 hour worth of podcasts. You'll have to listen through all of them. It's difficult to learn, but obviously there's a lot of reward in learning them. Nothing comes for free, right? It's pretty difficult to learn. So I'd say start with Bankless and go through the guide, understand everything, and then get into your favorite game or favorite metaverse protocol. Get into the Discord and get involved yourself. If you're a developer, just reach out to the devs in the Discord. They will give you roles, meet people, go to conferences, and that's it. It's more with people. Right now, I think there is a in LinkedIn. Since I follow one person. His name is some CEO of Wolf 3D something. I don't remember, but he's hiring CEO of Wolf 3D. Timu Toke, I think that's his name. Yeah. And if I go to his LinkedIn, they recently raised $10 to $12 million. Yeah, this dude. Yes. So these guys are hiring. So if you're into the metaverse, maybe you should reach out to him. And this is the fundraising that they recently did. And he told, we are scaling our team, please reach out. So it's going to be more on connections and people you meet and reaching out to people. There's no clear route. You have to go through Discord, get down in the rabbit hole, and experience it for yourself. And also reach out to me if you guys know some skill that is needed, right? In the metaverse, if you know 3D designing, I could reach out to folks I know and I could get you something. Or go to Crypto Saturday India and post those things and they will get back. So that's one. Go through Bankless guide. Very, very important. I think that's how people should be started. People shouldn't be seeing all these YouTube things that says 10 rocket, 20x rocket, nothing. Go through really good people, really good resources like Bankless. That's where they'll teach you the economics and finance part of it, the conviction, and every important thing, and very quality education, Bankless. How to get started with DSA and CP? I really don't know. I never did DSA and CP. I obviously learned DSA. CP I never did, so I'm not qualified to answer that question. Is that all the questions? Do you guys have anything? Do you want to ask?
About the specific knowledge, how did you find which is your interested in?
Which specific knowledge am I interested in?
Yeah, how did you find it?
So what you'll do is, for example, let me show you economic design.com. So I was very interested in economics in the first place. When I started to read Bankless, etc. But as you go down in the journey, you will find certain things. Like for example, this is a person. She has like 8,000 followers or something, 8,000 YouTube subscribers, something. Very, very less, right? That's why it's pretty early. That's why and you know how much he charges for this education. Let me cost this. Yeah. So for token economics, she charges $400 or something. That's a pretty big amount if you consider how much we have paid for education in general. But yeah, this is how so I hunted down what I like in terms I loved economics, so I like this. But you have to think about which sector you like. Like for example, some people would love crypto gaming. People would love gaming, and right now, since all these gaming assets are going to be traded, we will need game economists, basically, who know if if these skin is launched, what will get affected in the game, all these things. So specific knowledge comes from going down the rabbit hole, decentralized finance, crypto gaming, and I think NFTs. If you know how to buy an NFT and flip it. So there are a lot of people who specialize in finding which art people will like, or which art will stand through the time. All these things, and that knowledge is something that people have. And also one more thing is community building. So I've already talked about all the specific knowledge stuff that I think are cool. But it's more like you have to go down the field, choose something, and then talk to people who have done that for a long time. And it's called apprenticeship, that you can't learn these things in Udemy or something. You have to be a part of something like a Discord group or a protocol DAO or something. Be with them, work and build the protocol up, and through that you will learn knowledge. You'll acquire the knowledge. That's how it is. You should pick which path you have to go. There's a lot of paths here. I could not certainly go to crypto gaming because I love finance, so I'm sticking with decentralized finance. But there is also fields like crypto music. If you love music, music industry is being changed with NFTs. So you could go down and find what are all the music protocols are there, and go to the Discord and find out what kind of stuff people do there, and then you can figure out what is needed, etc. There's no clear route for any of these. These things you'll find only when you participate and go down. I hope that answers the question. I know it's very vague, but it's something that has to be experienced.
No?
Yeah.
When you talk about these Discord servers, right? Find good servers to be part of and build. Like, how do you find like a legit server?
Okay. So first off, see protocols. Study about protocols. For example, Aave. What is Aave? Go and study what Aave is. It can so if Aave is able to give you 10% interest on your money, how is that able to do that? So you have to go and study about it. You'll go to YouTube, figure out, and then you'll go to their Discord and ask doubts, etc. And then you'll reach out. So how do you detect scams? There's a lot of scams. Think about this as a dark forest. It's going to be hard for you to find the right protocols. So how you do that is with conviction, um, and uh, and also these protocols which have 26 like billions of dollars locked inside of them. These are very legit. I'll show you a website. It's called DeFi Llama. Yes. Let's go to DeFi Llama. This is how you find. Oh, shit. Hold on. DeFi Llama dashboard. Yes. Awesome. So this is the dashboard, right, where you'll find the top protocols, etc. So let's go to Ethereum. There's a lot of protocols here. MakerDAO, a lot of things, right? Go to the Discord and see which you first study about these things. See which one excites you and see which one you want to contribute to. There's a lot. So different ecosystems have different applications inside of them. You can contribute to any one of them. But as a beginner, I would just suggest go to Bankless DAO. Bankless DAO is a good protocol. So Bankless is it's a YouTube channel which has 100,000 subscribers. They also have a DAO where they're revolutionizing education and building a lot of products, right? And you could be a part of the DAO and earn bank tokens. And as the community goes up in value, your tokens go up in value. So what I do to find the best protocols is I trust one person and I use chain of trust. So I trust Bankless a lot. And when Bankless, and I also pay for their subscription, their newsletter. So Bankless wrote about Olympus DAO. Olympus DAO, Bankless. Bankless wrote about Olympus DAO. And that's when I realized Bankless DAO written by, Olympus DAO written by Bankless, it's legit. I should probably go and check out what they do. Then you realize that they're already, and there's the Olympus DAO work server where they're recruiting UI UX folks, developers, and they're paying you an OM token. The OM is the native token for this crypto asset. And let's just say OM 100x in 2 3 years or 1 year or something. It 100x, you would have earned $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, whatever it is, by working, and you would have developed specific knowledge by being with them. You would have seen how the protocol works from top to bottom. So now you've got specific knowledge plus a lot of money, right? You could easily make half $1,000,000 or something being in DAOs because it goes up in value, right? Yeah. So that's it. Find one good trusted source and then use. So, for example, if Naval goes and invests in some protocol, I'll go and check them out. So you would have to find certain folks you trust, and you have to bet on them that it's cool. And then you have to do something called a rug dog. This is more advanced concepts, but basically learn about how to not get rugged. I'll share this resource. You can validate a protocol if it's a legit protocol or not by doing some checks. Rug pull, whiteboard crypto. Yeah. Avoid crypto scams. 7 signs of a rug pull. So go through this video and see if the protocol matches with any of these characteristics. If not, yeah, you're clear. But mostly chain of trust. Find really great people. I could probably send like 5 to 7 people in Twitter. Follow them constantly, and they will retweet, tweet. That's why Twitter is useful. That's about it. I'll send these things. I've noted these things down in a book. I can send these things in an email to all of you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So I think we'll end the meet now, Anna.
Yeah, awesome. Cool.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mohan Anna and Kandavel Anna, for sharing your time with us and giving us so much information, which is not available everywhere. Thank you so much for doing that. And I'm sure all of us here are very motivated, and we'll get into learning and deep diving into all the various things that you have mentioned during your talk.
Yes, awesome. Awesome, guys. Yep.
Pradeep,
Yes.
I'm one of the participants. Actually, I didn't register for this meet. Actually, the link came somewhere around 6 o'clock, and many of us joined through that directly. So,
Okay.
when Mohan Anna shares these resources, could you mail that to all the people who were mentioned in the BCC?
No, we'll be mentioning in our Instagram page. Like, you can keep following our Insta page for the updates.
Okay. So you will be posting those resources in your Instagram page.
Yeah.
So the Insta ID is SSN ACM.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you, Anna. Thank you, guys, for attending the meet.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks everyone for being here and obviously hearing me talk for a long time. It should be very exhausting. But yeah, I've always thought how do I explain all of these things 6 months? But, I've gone down the rabbit hole and I've talked to a lot of people. Honestly, I've talked to a lot of people, and everything they'll tell, I'll just digest all of these things inside. But first, some things that I think you guys should follow. Go and listen to podcasts. Yeah, I know it's like 1 2 hours. The great people will never make YouTube content. They will come to podcast and talk. And podcast is something that people are very impatient to listen because there's an attention factor, right? You don't listen to something constantly unless, of course, you're motivated as much. So please take podcasts very seriously. I'll share a lot of resources, all of these resources properly, and you guys could reach out to me in LinkedIn. In terms of jobs too, if you guys have a good profile, I'd be more than happy to refer anyone. And that's I think that's a good thing that you guys take out of this talk, that people need Web3 devs, and if you go through buildspace.sol and finish stuff, and you have a good, and you probably went to a DAO and contributed or something, and it's easier to get a job right now. Or you can even go to Gitcoin and start earning. But that's the thing, right? When we go and do and build all this futuristic stuff for whatever it is, future of the internet, you lose the status symbol of being in Google, Microsoft, all these things. But the reward is much more because the risk you're taking is high. Yeah, that's the final thing I wanted to end. That be brave to take risks, because I've talked to people who are 28 or 29 plus. After they get married or something, it's very hard for them to take risks, right? You cannot take very, very crazy risk after you're old. You can only take very, very big risks when you're young, like 21 or something. And that's the most important thing. Be brave enough to take risks and explore things that other people aren't exploring. And that basically puts you in the 1% automatically. And most importantly, you'll find good friends here. You'll find a lot of great people, and yes, learn things that other people aren't learning. It'll be super fun. Yeah, that's the final thing I want to tell. Please be brave enough to take this. Throw away all the status symbols. Go and listen to Naval Ravikant. He'll talk a lot about status, all these things. It's very cool, no? You get into Google and your friends think you're cool, right? That's how people brand you as smart. But at the end of the day, people in Google leave to start startups because they realize, yeah, they're getting paid a lot, but they're getting taxed insanely. Uh, that's the thing. Our economy works in a way where if you're very, very talented, you shouldn't probably be an employee. You should be pushing towards building certain things that creates employment for people. And that's why they're taxing you a lot. That's why people who make more than a crore, they're getting taxed 37%. So understand this. This knowledge is something that I didn't get. I think I was already on a good track towards this, and now we have gotten, now opportunities hunt us. We don't hunt opportunities because we have built a lot of things when other people are laughing at us. There are a lot of people who told we were not doing CP and we were doing these things. There are people who mocked at us and told we're probably not doing the right things. But now we don't have to worry about jobs at all. It's been 1 year of our career, and we've gotten $8,000 or $100,000 job opportunities, 80 lakhs, and equity goes beyond crores, literally. And this CTC job, I will never put it in LinkedIn. You don't talk about supply demand concepts. Like, there is a lot of demand in this sector. We won't go out and tell, because if everyone jumps into it, we probably won't make money. And that's why these things don't go out and say. That's why it stays with the 1% of the people. And I'm glad to share with you folks, because we share the same college. I'm an alumni here. I can talk about these things, but you can't get these information pretty easily. Build people relationships, and like people, all these 1% folks you can find them easily in conferences. People like me, and they will open up a lot of doors for you in this sector. That's about it. That's the final thing I wanted to tell, and end this talk. Yeah. Sorry it took this long.
Thank you so much, Anna.
Cool.
Thank you, Anna.
I'll cut the call. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye, guys. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.